of the individual with hopes of dividing the human's focus away from attaining the goal. In letter 27 of Screwtape Letters, the patient is a soldier fighting in war and looks to have an unfortunate outcome for him. In response, he begins to pray fervently in what seems like his last days. Screwtape desires that Wormwood makes the patient think that his prayers are not heard or not working amidst his trials, with hopes of getting the patient to stop praying or at least distract him so his faith could not be as strong. Wormwood wants to weaken that command, weaken the focus on the goal desired, and weaken the intellect's ability to be steadfast in prayer. The 11th step, the last step within the intellect, is contemplation of the end. And here, the intellect contemplates the good of the action, which further drives the human to complete and do more good actions in the future. During this contemplation of the good action, man receives affirmation of happiness as they are honoring Christic friendship with God. Angels will ensure that man begins to receive from the gratification surrounding the good act, as they aim to use this memory as fuel for future good actions. While the good act had already been conducted, the demons do not stop, as they are already trying to work on stopping man from ever doing it again. Demons will aim to block clarity and hinder this contemplation of the end attained. They will do so by introducing doubts, more suspicions regarding the worthiness of this action, and whether or not this good was really the highest good. On the other hand, with regard to humans who had committed bad actions, they could receive false clarity from a darkened intellect. Within this demonically influenced darkened intellect, man can receive false affirmation, affirming that what he did is actually good and not contrary to Christic friendship with God. Therefore, all celestial beings within this step already begin to plant seeds that will be used as memories in the future. This final section will conclude by finalizing an argument for the primacy of intellectual promptings and a fittingness that these celestial influence would take place within the intellect. With regard to their nature, celestial beings are immaterial created beings, meaning they are non-corporeal and have no means of sensible intelligibility for the most part. Further, it would be very hard to conclude that a celestial being as a whole would aim to encounter and influence human beings by way of their senses, for they are completely spiritual. Therefore, there is a primacy to their intellectual promptings, as it would be unfitting for a purely spiritual being to encounter something through one's senses. While physical influence in a physical encounter is not unheard of, it is rather uncommon, furthermore highlighting that there must be a primacy. Moreover, angels and demons cannot directly affect the will of man, as that belongs to God alone. However, despite this limitation, they still possess the vocation of drawing man closer or pulling man away from God. If all human actions that draw a man closer to or further from Christic friendship with God first begin in the intellect, then beings whose sole vocation is to aid in either one of those realities would find a primacy of influencing man in that faculty in specific. As presented earlier in this thesis, there are 6 opportunities for celestial beings to influence man by way of intellectual promptings that are unique. In each step within the intellect, these celestial beings intentionally encounter man by way of these promptings that consist of memories, images, and ideas with hopes of swaying the heart and draw him closer to their desired goal. To conclude, there is a primacy to the intellectual promptings with regard to celestial beings, and the fittingness to their influence primarily taking place with intellect. For when given their nature and man's nature, in light of the celestial limitations and the manner in which man comes to know things, there is a suitability when addressing intellectual promptings and the primacy of the intellect as a whole. In conclusion, as man embarks on this journey toward deep Christic friendship with God, he ought to be fully aware of his free will and all the realities that may be aiding or disturbing him in this process. While Christ has already won salvation for all mankind, each human person accepting the salvation is at war. There is a spiritual battle taking place all around us. God will never coerce man into falling in love with him. However, he will command his angels to fight on behalf of his beloved bride against the machinations of the evil one, with hopes of every guardian angel returning their designated person back. Therefore, man needs to know where this battle is being fought, what this battle looks like, and how this battle is won. Thank you.